Some stories weren't meant to be told. As children, we experienced unexplainable haunting events that we would carry throughout our lives. We're going to tell you our stories. You're going to share your stories. Marvin and Marsha present Ghosts of Our Past.
Hey guys, I'm Marvin Ambrosius.
And I'm Marsha Ambrosius.
And this is the first official episode of Ghosts of Our Past. Now, this episode... Yeah, I know. Can you believe we're here, Marsh? Can you believe this is happening?
No, I can't believe it, but here we
I know. It's the ones you saw the trailer, and I can't even imagine what was going through your minds when you saw the trailer and something like this coming from us. Now, this is the first episode, so we're going to give you a bit of backstory before going into the first episode, so you have an understanding of what all these episodes are going to be about. This first episode is called The First Sighting. Now, just to paint a picture, as you would have seen, this is 1981 Liverpool. I'm 1 year old. Marsha is 3 to 4 at this point.
Yeah,
right?
about 3, 4. Yeah. So going back to Liverpool, 1981, a time when I thought our dad was a member of Earth, Wind and Fire. Like our household was full of music. Dad was in a band called Supercharged. He had a bass, everywhere. He had a lead guitar, he had an amplifier. There was vinyl everywhere. So to see Let's Groove, the video, was like mind-blowing magic to me. Like, down, let's groove. So I'm like, exactly. I'm amazed at watching this VHS tape of these guys that I'm sure that one there, Larry Dunn.
That is my dad. Yeah,
that's my dad for sure. And I'm pretty like, sure. he's on TV. This is incredible.
I know.
So 1981, great time in life. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Time Bandits.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
American Whale. Right, why were we watching that?
Let's not even go there, yeah. Exactly.
Shout outs to John Cleese. American Werewolf in London. Changed my life. Changed my entire life.
Changed Michael Jackson's life too. Boop.
So I remember being in our kitchen in Liverpool and being about 4 years old. And at 4 years old in Liverpool, the late night snack of our choice, Marvin, if you remember this, cornflakes. Kellogg's cornflakes. You needed a bowl of beautiful ice cold milk over some cornflakes. You used to have a lot of sugar. I don't know why you added sugar to that. Why you didn't just get?
I have no idea, but that was probably that's where the child obesity came into years later.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that stuff after.
So I remember sitting there, and I'm at the kitchen table, and I'm eating these cornflakes, and by myself. Mum and Dad probably in the living room. You're a baby at this point, so you're in a crib somewhere.
Who I am right now.
And you're in a crib somewhere chilling. And I'm eating these cornflakes, and it got really, really, really warm. Like out of nowhere, I could just feel the warmth, like washing over me. Like I'm like, did someone turn the radiator? Or like, what's happening?
Was it like a full from back to front warmth, or like a heat coming at you?
A heat coming at me. So it's like imagine the opposite of. All right, you know what it compares to? Remember when we went to Florida for the first time? And we got off the plane. So when you get off the plane and you're in that tunnel and you're like, the humidity.
Who am I?
That's what happens.
Planet am I on?
Exactly. So we're talking about cold Liverpool. It's like wintertime. And that funnel tunnel of heat just hitting me. And I'm like, what is happening? So where we were at in our kitchen, it was like a picnic bench style kitchen table. So I'm on the bench and in the corner is a doorway leading to our backyard. And we were on the second floor, so there's like a stairwell outside. So our doorway, half of it was glass. So we're talking about what, 4 feet, 3 feet by 3 by 2, something like that. So you're talking a huge space of glass. Not that you could see all the way through it. It was that shattered glass effect. So in the UK, you know, in the UK when you have those crazy like orange lights at night, so it looks really weird.
The blurring lights where they were way too bright for nighttime. They created silhouettes you didn't want to see.
I don't want to see that shadow. It's dumb. So that shadow.
Too much.
So this orange haze is in the background, and I look at the window, and there's this massive butterfly. Like it's huge. Like it covered the entire glass.
Give me a spectrum, not in meters or feet. Just try and like give me a body.
I'm talking like I can't even get it in the camera. So
oh wow.
If I'm here, the doorway, half the doorway was glass, and that whole thing landed there and is just looking at me. And
remember the film The Mothman Prophecies with Ben Affleck? Of
course.
Was it like like the size of those moths? Because that's how I imagined it in my head.
I wasn't scared of it like that. This wasn't a red eye ominous presence. It was just acknowledging me, acknowledging it. And some people are like, that's not a ghost. That's not supernatural or not. I took this as an event. I took this as a sign in my 4-year-old subconscious that stayed with me throughout my life. I would acknowledge butterflies as a sign of comfort and a sign of everything's going to be okay. It's above me. Whatever's going on is just above me. So I remember running to Mum and Dad's room and being like, Mum, Dad, there's a butterfly. You know, I had my straight living accent like that. Mum, there's a butterfly in the kitchen. Mom, there's a butterfly in the door. Dad, come here.
Oh, there, Marsha.
Exactly. So, they go to bed, will you? Your brother's asleep. Shut up.
And you know I probably was asleep as well because I was that child. Man. I was asleep.
I'm now that child that just eats cornflakes at night and then gets sent to bed. So I'm sent to bed with this thought, this presence that just showed itself to me. Or maybe there was a migration of huge butterflies in Liverpool that no one ever talked about on the news.
And no one had social media at the time to catch it. And the cameras didn't have a fast shutter speed. There was no fast shutter speed cameras back then. Or slow shutter speed, so you couldn't do that. Yeah.
Even our dusty, remember our Polaroid? It would have been waiting for this thing going.
Oh, it's gone.
It's done. It was over with. Couldn't do it. So I'm like, I know that this happened. And moving forward into getting to Camberwell, and our parents separate, and I remember Auntie Bertha lived about a 5-minute walk away from us.
Always.
And Camberwell was Butterfly Walk.
Yeah, which was crazy.
And I just remember feeling, first of all, we're young, but the separation anxiety because of how close our family were. We've got Nana Bess, Beryl, like we've got Aunt Dee Dee, we've got Nat, Warren, Helen, Jenny, Mark, everybody.
And we left.
And we left.
Yeah.
And we're trying
shout out to Mum and Dad though. Like obviously that they wanted to build something better. They wanted to do something better. And that was a big jump. That was a big jump.
Huge.
Shout out to Mum and Dad. Like and regardless of the split, I do want to say to people as well, I didn't know my mum and dad weren't together till I was about 6, and that's just because my dad was around all the time, and that's a testament to any fathers whose relationships aren't working out. That's how a father's supposed to be, and a mother's supposed to be. So just putting it out there now, man. It's just like, we're lucky, very lucky.
Absolutely, and for me being slightly older and understanding that Dad wasn't gonna be there, like, okay, you're putting me to bed at night, but if I wake up in the middle of the night, you're not gonna be there. Yeah. I had that because I wasn't
there yet.
Yeah, I'm slightly older than you, where my innocent level of understanding of what do you mean you've got to go, I don't know what that means. You wouldn't have had that just yet.
No,
but what I did have are these signs. I've got Butterfly Walk, and I remember the butterfly in Liverpool, and I was like, everything's going to be okay. I don't know why I know this, I just do. So without spoilers and going through all the stories that we did end up going through, it's what the end result of what that sign was significant for me. It's throughout my life, this butterfly, this butterfly, my first tattoo, getting to Philadelphia, writing this song in that same house, that haunted house.
What year was that?
I was 15,
94, 95?
15,
No,
16,
you would know 93. Yeah, 93, 94.
Yeah, like 93. Let's just call it 93.
Yeah. No, that's it. Actually. Good year. 5-star camp.
I'm writing 5-star camp year, exactly.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Imagine I'm writing this song about a boy that lives in Camberwell, maybe, or his best friend lived on the same street that we did, and he works at McDonald's, and I've got this crush. And years later, I would write this song, Butterflies, that becomes a part of the demo of this chance that I took because of all of these signs. This one very significant thing that happened in my childhood that I just stayed with. I'm like, okay, this is my symbol of hope. This is my symbol of my fate, my dream, my destiny. I don't know where it's going to take me. Ultimately, it took me to working with the greatest of all time. Like
the goat of music.
The actual goat. So if I'm telling Dad, and this is without, going into the basketball history of things, it's like, Dad, I don't think I want to play basketball anymore. That injury that I suffered, I didn't think through not being able to play at any point. I didn't expect an injury. So when you do and you can't play, that was my biggest heartbreak. It wasn't my first boyfriend or we break up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so emotional now. No, it was basketball. I can't pick it up and I can't go play and I can't go shoot. And this is killing me.
I remember. I was there when injury happened. I remember that day.
So here's more goats. So Michael Jordan's Come Fly With Me in your room in the haunted house, in the second apartment that we live.
I had the American, just to paint a picture, guys, I had an American VCR with a plug adapter that allowed me to watch movies and television shows from America. But bear in mind, me and Marsha were years ahead of British culture because we had American culture installed in our household. So that just to give you a little brief, we'll touch on it more, but we'll touch on that more later. But there's so much that goes on. But carry on, Marsha.
There's so many things. So I write If I Was a Bird at that point. I wrote If I Was a Bird about me not being able to walk. If I was a bird, I'd fly away. Because I couldn't walk.
Because you walk.
Because I tore ligaments. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is so deep. You've got me caught in a starry-eyed. Imagine me. Hold on, I wish my ball was in here. This is me holding the basketball.
I know.
Like, you lied to me.
People are literally listening to that song like a relationship, that motherfucker. It's like, we're talking about Spalding messed us up. Spalding done messed you up.
I'm literally talking to this ball like you ruined my dream. What I thought this was going to be. Because I look, as much as I respect basketball, I thought I'd make the NBA before I made the WNBA.
And you know what? I agree. I agree. I'm not going to lie. I pretty much was...
Don't gas me up. You know we've got the shoot way in the back. But with all that said, all of these things are happening in these same spaces because of this one thing. Yeah. This butterfly that said, Marsh, you're good. Guess what? This was so destined for me before this was even destined for anything that I'm not surprised. I'm just like, what a sigh of relief. I couldn't see this coming as a 4-year-old, but I welcomed it. I acknowledged it, and I feel like the ones that don't are the ones that ultimately regret. Like, I should have just admitted that that's what that was when I saw it. But
I guess signs are a funny thing. Signs are weird because sometimes signs appear to you in a negative context, and sometimes they appear to you so obvious that they're not obvious. But I think acting on things that you feel that are going to better you, or I always say in fitness and in life, if you keep comfortable, you have to make yourself uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Right.
And I think a lot of the situations we're going to talk about, there's a lot of things that right now, I'll be honest, that we're going to talk about as an adult. I couldn't, like, I'm just going to say the cupboard in my mother's bedroom. That's another episode. But what I'm going to talk about is, if you asked me to do that now, it wouldn't happen. But the Goonies courage as a child, the Goonies courage, I call it, and the adventurer as a child of belief in wanting something more, there's a different level of fear there. But that's what we're talking about.
I agree with that. And it's that whole point of, I'm a kid, I don't really have a choice in this matter. I kind of just have to do it. Like, what am I going to do? Move out? I'm 12. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't have a choice. So I feel like you're right. It was literally the Goonies. It was, I'm gonna challenge these things head on, put them aside when need be. But here we are years later, and I still, to this day, have very uncomfortable dreams about that house. Like, it's weird because when we were there, like you said, we had some of the happiest times in our lives. That childhood, wouldn't trade it for anything. But there's this thing that we've kind of pushed aside and buried deep down, I believe, since we've been having these conversations. It's just that when I'm in the dream, I know I'm there and I don't want to be. Like, the other day, I'm laying there and I get in this dream. That's how I call it, because mine are just straight movies at this point. I'm in this dream and I know I'm there, and I'm like, oh, get me out of it, and I'm screaming on the inside. I'm screaming to the point where now Des can actually hear me, and he's shaking me to wake me up out of it. But I'm actually yelling for him to get me out of it, because I couldn't get out of it myself.
You're deep in it,
and
like a deep
I would
dream.
call mum and I would tell her, and I was like, I really have uncomfortable dreams about that space. It's like, I should be happy to go back there. Like, oh, I loved this place when I was I really didn't.
And I feel exactly the same way. As much as I'm like, why is it that, I said this to you the other day when we were thinking of doing this podcast, I said, why is it that as happy as the memories I have in the house, why am I scared to go in? That's just, I'm a grown ass man. Like, what the hell happened to me? Why would a fear come over us to where I'm like, I don't know if I could go into mum's bedroom, her old bedroom, because I'm worried.
I can't see me walking in, because there's the one that was on the second floor. I think I'd be okay going in there. Like my 10th birthday, the Nyla album cover. So my Nyla album cover is me. I must be about 8 or 9. I'm standing in front of the fireplace, and that's that house. That was the first one where I had, I think, my craziest experience for me, but that's a whole other episode.
We'll go. That's another episode. Right? Check it out.
When we got into the other one, it would take a lot for me to do a walkthrough. Like, all right, let's go to the kitchen, and I'll remember that piano right there, the upright that we had, and I'll remember that bathroom. I'll remember the hallway leading to the dining room. Remember the glass tables?
The lovely glass table.
Kind of looked like Caroline's bed in Poltergeist, them chairs, but they were bamboo chairs.
I tried not to admit that to myself for years. I did look like it.
Can we get into the Little Shop of Horrors plant that lived in there? It was alive.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a whole episode, the plant, but just to give you a little bit of, just to give you a little backstory, guys, we had this plant, and my mum said she got it from this shop. It was really tall. It was probably about maybe 5 foot. I'm not even kidding.
Why can I see the opening of Little Shop of Horrors where he sees it sitting there? Oh, that's so cute.
It's so cute. Like, he's got your number now. But basically, this plant used to just move. So just imagine like a plant here. It would just go.
It's like
and it would do that. And it turned and moved. And it kept on moving. So one day I said to Mum, why does it do this? She said, oh, when you feed it, it's obviously plants are alive. And I went, okay, cool, plants are alive. Now, if plants are so alive, why is it to this day, I've never seen a plant do this? So
never.
I've seen many plants. I've asked people that have got big plants. I said, "Does your plant move?" They said, "Why would it move?" I'm like, "Our plant just went." Whoosh. And then I'll be watching a movie and it just go. Shh. And to this day, I'm pretty creeped out. Like I'm just like, if I had a plant
because
right now,
you're like, well, what the hell was that? Why did
I don't get it.
That?
Yeah, I'm creeped out now. I've got like chills now.
Thinking about, because it's that house. The second one, First one I can deal with, because I feel like I have happier memories in there, way younger memories. But my 10th birthday is classic,
Fire,
all time.
fire.
Run DMC.
Hopefully we'll get some clips. Hopefully we'll get some clips.
We'll
get some
together.
clips on here. We'll get some clips on here just so you guys can see some of the great times that we had.
The beautiful good memories that we do have of that space, I'll cherish them. But there is there are things that we went through that I'm glad that we're able to have these conversations now. And the fact that you FaceTimed me the other day and just happened to be picking up Tay from Auntie Berta's, and you did say, you know what, I'm here, let me just do a drive-by. And
that was probably the push that we needed to say, all right, we're doing this podcast, because it wasn't just a sign, it was giving me factual backup information on something that I hadn't thought about in 35 years of my life. So the fact that I was actually told that something was real from complete strangers, that's all I'm saying. So get ready for those eps. It's about to get real.
Too real. And I'm excited, but at the same time a little terrified, because even us talking about it before we even, start recording and we want to talk to other people about this, I'm remembering stuff now that I haven't thought about in years.
One side. It's coming back over here now.
To the point where I had to, I sat down with my husband. I sat down with Des and I was like, babe, I'm going to do this thing with Marvin. And he's like, yeah. So I showed him the trailer and he remembers when I shot that for something completely separate. And I was like, but now this makes sense, because this is something that I've said publicly. I think I did an interview with Questlove. And I mentioned it.
We got to dig that up as well.
Yeah, I was like, I've mentioned my haunted house in many an interview, and everyone's like, that's crazy.
Hilarious.
Play Say Yes, one more time. Play Butterflies, one more time. Play Far Away, one more time. Play Nights, Early Mornings. What haunted house? Like, no one further elaborates on that part. And the fact that we're making a decision to actually do it is courageous on both of our parts. And Marv, I've said to you over the past couple of days where we've decided to just get down and really, really, really handle this for ourselves, is just be prepared for this Pandora's box that we've had tucked for 30 plus years.
It's about to get opened.
It's opened in a sense where we'll discover things about that past that maybe we don't really want to. And I'm preparing myself, only because of what happened 5 days ago has absolutely validated why we're doing this. Even without that part. Bottom line is, we went through that. We did. You and I, brother and sister, our experience, and even within our own comfort zone and inner circle, and that's our family. We've all got our stories collectively, which we'll bring in. I'm gonna I'm calling a cuz or two, like, yo, remember the time when, and they're shared experiences. So I can understand if I was coming to you like, Marv, when I was a kid, and I see dead people, and you're like, really? Like,
really?
It was never really. It was like, no, fam, me too, fam, and
it's like, yeah, man, you remember that tattoo I got? You know why?
But the relief of it all is, oh my God, I wasn't crazy. For mum to hear this, for mum to move away from Liverpool, from family, to separating, to handling business as the sole parent. Yes, dad was there for us, but we're talking about a young black woman making her mark, trying to support her family, trying to get everything right, and having to deal with this haunted house that she didn't want to scare her kids with. But
and just kind of like letting us get on with it and creating great memories for us not to see it as anything bad.
Exactly. And the bottom line is, at no point was it negative. Was it overbearing and a little heavy? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Dark and evil? Maybe not. Maybe not.
We don't know if it was sinister. We don't know. Yeah, but what I do know is that I was never alone. I do know that.
Absolutely.
Never, at any point.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I know, it's just like, I sleep like a baby, just to let you guys know now. Like, I literally, like, I'm out.
First
like,
of all,
like,
I'm a whole other person when it comes to sleep. I think when I moved to the States, and that's another separation thing.
Yeah.
And I get to Philly. We get to Atlanta, but when I got to Philly, there was this statue of this Native American Indian on the end of Market Street. You remember
Street,
like, where
yeah,
and it reminded me of Dad. And I was like, I could stay here. Then I met Yamin. That introduced us to
Shout out Yamin.
Right, but then introduced us to Jay Irving, the son of Julius Irving, who Dad coached with in '84 at summer camp. So all these signs, I'm like, thank you, Butterfly. Thank you, Butterfly.
Exactly.
Thank you, Butterfly. Andre Harris, who does Long Walk and The Way with Jill, and I'm like, production-wise, maybe I needed to wait all this time to actually create this song the way I wanted to, and then I meet him. Then we do that.
And then you do that as much as more things as well. There's God knows how many songs down there.
Do you know what it was, Marv? Darren Henson, who produced
my other twin.
He produces.
Yeah, for those that don't know, shout out Darren Henson. Like,
Jesus.
There was an ongoing joke for about a year and a half in Philadelphia about a twin brother that I'd never met before. And the scariest thing was when we met in person.
Crazy.
It was weird. I don't think I'd ever met someone and felt like, this dude looks just like me. Like, to the point where, how could we not be related? And even scarier, guess what his girlfriend's name was? Marvina.
Yeah, Marvina.
How was his girlfriend's name Marvina? Now, if you're telling me the world works in weird ways,
it just does.
Like, you've got to just accept it at this point and go, do you know what?
It
like,
solidified
I'm rolling with it.
Right. It solidified the comfort level of me going, Mum, I'm okay with not coming home. I feel like this is my destiny and it's gonna work out. You're just gonna have to deal with it. I promise you, I'll hit you back in a week or so. Click. The Flowetry demo is done. It's been sent out, and I feel like we're gonna get a deal. Click. Actually, Michael Jackson wants to do Butterfly.
Just do this up. Click. I know. Click.
It just kept
going.
All because of this one magnificent sign of a giant butterfly that looked at me through the window and says, "You're gonna be good.
You're gonna be alright. You're gonna be alright."
In my head, I don't know why it was American.
Just a little bit, Marsha. You're gonna be amazing.
No, don't you even dare.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh.
Butterfly.
It's awful. I hate it. I hate it. Stop it.
But you know what? Butterfly Walk, right now on Butterfly Walk, shout out to Cambor, they've always had a mural of painted butterflies underneath that bridge ever since. And there's a giant yellow butterfly there now, which to them, they have no clue about this story. So I hope someone from that community we can reach out to and say to them, this is a story. And that's what's part of our journey now and a part of our makeup of who we are. And I think that's what this first episode is about, guys, is about digging down deep into your past, your childhood, and picking out the great things and picking out the things you don't want to think about, but also knowing that those things is what ultimately made you into the person you are today.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's incredible now to see the world in the state that it is, and even during an apocalypse, I could still think about this and go, you know what, I wouldn't trade it. The journey to get to this point, the fact that we're FaceTiming, I now live with my husband and my daughter in Vegas somewhere. You're still in the UK, Mum still moved back to Liverpool. Berta's still on that street from all them years ago in Camberwell. And last year I was so happy to come back and just walk around and kind of do the walk that we would normally do.
The everyday walk.
When that pub used to be open, when George's Chippy was
Chippy
there.
shop, walk past Sacred Heart.
Yes,
then
Sacred
getting
Heart,
down straight to Camberwell, to the McDonald's,
that
to where
church
Champion's
that we
shoe
used to
stop
go
used
in.
to be.
So do you realise that remember the church that was underneath the shortcut to get to Matthew's house or to go back to our house? We'd go into that church and get the holy water and bless every
then
time
walk out.
we passed.
Do you remember that, Marsh? That's quite.
Oh my god! I'm just
oh
remembering
shit!
that.
Oh shit! Sorry. Do you know what? I am not kidding you. Until you just said that just then, I never thought of that. Because remember, you know where that stemmed from? Sorry for spitting. At primary school, remember they didn't allow us to go and get the bread or get the wine because we weren't Christians. So basically, we were like, oh, you can just walk into this church and do that. So we were like, all right, we need this. So we used to just walk in there and go like that with it ourselves, buy it, and then leave. Who does that? Who the hell does that?
Marv, I'm only just, and we were young, I'm talking young when we did this without our parents. I've only just remembered that.
Holy mo! This is exactly what this is gonna do. It's
See?
Just gonna
Oh my
It's
gosh.
just gonna promote stuff like
And
I ain't gonna like early. Oh man.
So the fact that this is without pushing our agenda of what we believe in, because at the time we're at a Church of England school where on paper your parents had to sign off you actually being a part of that religion, even though we went to church before we went to school. So St. John the Divine, we went to that church before we even started class. They would take the whole school, we would walk over there, do service, and then come back. That was
I
our
just started
lives.
singing the songs in my head.
Oh my Marv, which one are you singing though? Because if you're singing the same one as me, I'm gonna do it. Say it.
Wait. They come from the glory.
He come from the glory.
Believers. Oh yes, believers.
Marv,
I'm like, why did we go like we used to go?
They come from the glory. Blah blah. We come from the glorious kingdom come.
Why did it turn into like a ragathon sound clash?
Listen, because it's a culture thing. Because we were so.
Oh god, I got tears out my eyes on that one. That was hilarious.
We were so black at the same time. Like, where people have to understand, us coming from Liverpool, we were surrounded by people who looked exactly like us. But when we say exactly like us, Mum's dad is as dark skinned as Cole. From Nana to being a little darker than me. Everybody was black in Liverpool to me though. What's his name? Jordan's first girlfriend who had blonde hair. She was black.
She was black, yeah, exactly. You couldn't, and it was like you just knew she was.
We didn't do a distinguishable difference until we got to London, and it was like, oh, you're light skinned, or your mum's got to be white, and all of these other things. Like,
whoa, what's going on here?
I didn't even know this thing. Well, your eyes.
I didn't know I was different. I thought we were the same.
I didn't know. I was like,
and then I got told quickly that you ain't black. You ain't black. That's a whole other story, but that was like a whole weird introduction.
So imagine
to
coming
London.
to London with all of these things, and you're like, what do you know about black? My dad's afro is 14 inches picked out for sure. Same with mum's. And there's too many things I'm thinking about now. Because people from, it was either Charles Overbrook or St. John's, and they called that number, and they were calling mum all types of like, you white bee, like swearing, like, but referred to her as a white woman. So all derogatory terms, but referencing her as a white woman. So I remember coming back and mum's vexed at me, like vexed. I was like, Mum, first of all, they probably just went in the office, got our number, and clearly they do not know me. Yeah. Because if they did, you're as black as they can be. Like, you are a black woman.
You're darker than both of us. You look just like Angela Davis.
You're a black woman. So I was like, these were not my friends, Mum. And I remember her being so upset. Outside of that, and me wanting to take accountability for some type of blame for it, imagine how that really made my mum feel, though.
Yeah, it's
how would
sad,
mum
man.
feel? Like, how could you?
I'm thinking about how I feel now. Like, that really cuts me, man.
As a parent, someone's gone
I've cried
out of
over
their
stuff
way.
with the kids now, but not that bad. But it wasn't as bad
as
as
a
that.
parent, it's like you're coming out of. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird to look at it now. I'm like outside of myself, going, my mum still had to endure things like that. And here we are, 2020, and it's still some bullshit.
Well, that is, I'd say, essentially what Ghosts of Our Past is about. And we're going to be having many episodes just like this, guys. We're going to wrap this one up because me and Marsh tend to go on a tangent, and we will actually talk for probably 4 or 5 hours. We have a lot of material here, a lot of stories, too many stories, actually, but that's why we're going to be doing this again on episode 2 in a couple of weeks, which you'll have. Share this. Make sure that you follow all the social media channels, Ghosts of Our Past UK on Instagram, and also the community on Facebook, as well as our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast with us and listening to our journey. Be free and be safe and share your stories with us, please.
I'd just like to say one thing. Camberwell, the lady in white.
That will be an episode to remember, and get ready, guys. It's about to get real. See you soon.
Goop goop.